Hello everyone. This is the notes for Module 1A homework. We're going to review the problems that are highlighted. This is for MAT0022. Again, this is Module 1A homework, and we'll begin with number 1, where you're asked to determine the place value of the digit 5 in the whole number. The whole number you're given is 509. I rewrote 509 over here to the side along with the placement of each digit so that 9 is in the ones place, 0 is in the tens place, and 5 is in the hundreds place. So the answer to this question would be hundreds. What place is 5 in? It's in the hundreds place. Now let's look at number 5. You're asked to find the perimeter of this figure. You see a triangle with lengths 7, 6, and 10 feet. To find the perimeter of any shape, you just add all sides. So in this case, we have 3 lengths. We will add each of the sides. So we're adding 6 plus 7 plus 10. All right, let me rewrite that. 6 plus 7 plus 10. All right, and we'll just add going down on the right side, the far right side. Now look at these empty spaces as being zeros. If we want to pay attention to our columns here, the digits in our far right column, the 6 plus the 7, we want to add those 2 lengths first. And when we add 6 plus 7, we'll get 13. We're going to carry the 1. And then 1 in the tens column plus the 1 down here will give us 2. So the perimeter of this triangle would be 23. And we'll fill in that space with 23. Now there's another empty space here where you have to fill in the units. You're asked to choose cubic feet, feet, or square feet. For perimeter, it's a single dimension, we put feet. So we should choose the second option. Cubic feet we use when we're measuring volume. And square feet we use when we're measuring area. So we use the single dimension for perimeter. All right. All right, let's move on to number 9. In this particular problem, you're asked, or you're given this statement: a new notebook computer with a DVD player costs $610, and Derek Moeller has $1,424 in his checking account. How much will be left in the checking account after he buys a notebook computer? So his bank account began at $1,424. So we write that number, and then he purchased the DVD player computer for $610. So we're going to subtract that amount from the $1,424. So we line up our digits again, but this time we're subtracting instead of adding. Starting in the far right column, 4 minus 0 gives us 4. 2 minus 1 gives us 1. And then 4 minus 6. We can't subtract 6 from 4, therefore we have to borrow. So we borrow from the 1, that 1 becomes 0, making the 4 a 14. And 14 minus 6 gives us 8. So this would be the balance in the account after purchasing the item. So $814 is your answer. All right, let's look at number 14. So for number 14, you're asked to round 31,399 to the nearest thousand. Now I rewrote this digit over here to the side, and remember our places, right? So we have the ones, tens, hundreds, thousands place. This 1 is in the thousands place. That's where we want to round. So I'm going to underline that digit that's in the thousands place. Now, how do we determine how to round? I'm going to draw an arrow to the neighbor to the right. So we want to round to the thousands place. We want to round where the 1 is. However, to determine whether this 1 rounds up or whether it stays the same, we got to follow these guidelines. We have to pay attention to our neighbor. And if the neighbor to your right is 5 or higher, you're going to round up. So if the digit to the right is 5 or higher, you would round up in the thousands place. So 5 or higher, you're rounding up. If that digit is less than 5, so if the digit is less than 5, then you want to remain the same. So it will remain a 1. All right, so these are your two options. Either you're going to round up or you're going to stay the same in the thousands place. Now look at our digit to the right. 3 is less than 5. So that means we will remain the same. It'll remain a 1. So we'll round it as 31,000. So 1 will stay the same. And then behind the 1, you would add zeros. So zeros in each of these 3 spaces, the ones, tens, and hundreds space. Everything after the thousands. When we round to the nearest thousand, we'll get 31,000. All right, let's look at number 21. For 21, you're asked to multiply these 3 digits together. You got 390 times 1 times 20. So really, you're just multiplying each of these digits together, but we're taking the multiples 2 numbers at a time. So 390 times 1 first. 390 times 1, or any number times 1 is going to be itself. So 390 times 1, 1 times 0 is just 0. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 3 is 3. So you get 390. Now we'll take 390 and multiply it by our third digit, which is 20. 0 times 0 is just 0. 0 times anything is 0. So 0 times 9 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. Now we're starting in our second column. We always start with our first digit in the upper row. So 2 times 0 gives us 0. Remember to line up your digits in the same column with 2. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 9 is 18. We got to carry our 1. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 1 we carried. So we want to add a 7 here beside our 8, and then we need to add our columns going down. All right, so 0, you just add another 0 if you need to here in that empty space. 0 in the last column, and then 0 plus 0 again. 8 plus 0. 7 plus 0. Nothing on top there. So we'll get 7,800 as our answer. All right, let's look at number 27. For 27, you're asked to find the area and the perimeter of this rectangle. Now, the definition of area is multiplying length times width. So area equals length times width. Our length is the longest side. The width is the shortest side. So in our rectangle, the longest side, right here, the 60, is our length. The shorter side, 16, is going to be our width. So we just substitute those numbers. Oftentimes you'll see L and W used for length and width. So length times width is how we find the area. To get the perimeter, we discussed that earlier. Remember, that's adding all sides. And remember, you do have 4 sides. Although you only see 2 numbers, there are 4 sides. The sides that are opposite are equivalent. So if the side on the right is 60 feet, the side on the left is also 60 feet. The top length or top width is 16 feet. Therefore, the bottom section would also be 16 feet. So we have to remember to add all four of these sides, 16 plus 16 plus 60 plus 60. And that's what we're going to do down here in these sections. It's a lot easier to add these digits and multiply them when they're written vertically on top of each other. So to get our area, we're multiplying 6 times 0, we'll get 0. 6 times 6, we'll get 36. Now we're starting in our second digit. 1 times 0, second column is 0. 1 times 6 is 6. And then we need to add our column. 0, 6 plus 0, which is 6. 3 plus 6, which gives us 9. So 960 is the area. The area of the rectangle is 960. Now, if you recall earlier when we talked about the units for area, area is square feet. So you can write it as feet to the second power, and then the same thing, but it's the second option. Remember, feet is for perimeter, cubic feet is for volume. Number 2, we're asked to find the perimeter of the rectangle, so we're adding each of the sides. We have 4 sides that we need to add together. Starting in our last column, 6 plus 6 is 12. We need to carry our 1. And then we'll just add. 6 plus 6 is 12, 13, 14, 15. So 152 is our perimeter. And remember, the units for perimeter would be the second option again. It's going to be feet by itself, no power. All right. Let's look at number 29. For a wedding, Ben and Jen paid $13 for each guest dinner. The total bill was $2,548. How many guests did they have at their wedding? So if the total bill came up to $2,548 and each person's dinner was $13, we have to figure out how many 13s there are in 2,548. So we got to divide. So you can see the difference when we're dividing and seeing the digits written on top of each other versus how we actually work it out. We carry using our division bar. The number in the bottom, that's our divisor. We always place outside, and underneath would be the numerator, 2,548. Now we need to divide. So we're asking ourselves how many times 13 can be divided into, starting with the first digit, into 2. 13 can't go into 2. 2 is too small, so we have to make our digit a little bit bigger. We're going to carry over to the 5. How many times can 13 be divided into 25? Only once. If you remember, 13 times 2 is 26, so it's not quite that big. So we're going to subtract. 1 times 13 will give us 13. We'll subtract 25 minus the 13, that gives us 12. And then we'll carry down the 4. Now, how many times does 13 go into 124? 9 times. Now, over here to the side, you can do this multiplication. So you can confirm your digits. 13 times 9, we're just multiplying. 9 times 3, we'll get 27. Carry that 2. 9 times 1 is 9, plus the 2 gives us 11. We get 117. We need to subtract 124 minus 117. Now when we go to subtract 4 minus 7, we can't take 7 from 4, so we got to borrow from our 2, making that a 1. And our 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 7 is 7. All right, and now we're going to carry down the 8 to the right. This 1 minus 1 becomes 0. 1 minus 1 again, zeros to the left. Now 13 into 78. 13 can go into 78 6 times evenly. 6 times 13 gives us 78. All right, so how many dinner guests did they have? They had 196 guests. All right. Let's look at number 40. Now for number 40, you're asked to divide again, but this time you have bigger digits. We're dividing 35,293 by 201. So we're going to place that 201 on the outside right here, you see. Inside we have 35,293. Now this number is pretty big. So again, off to the side, you may want to start doing your multiples, 201 times 5 or times 6, just to get a list of multiples together. Now 201 cannot go into 3, that's too small. 201 can't go into 35, but 201 can go into 352. It can go into 352 at least one time, right? So 1 times 201 will give us 201, and then we subtract 352 minus 201. Starting in our last column, 2 minus 1 gives us 1. 5 minus 0 gives us 5. 3 minus 2 gives us 1. So 151, we want to carry down our 9. And now how many times is 201 can be divided into 1,519? And it could be divided evenly or not evenly, but it could be divided 7 times without going over 1,519. 7 times 201, you'll get 1,407. And we want to subtract. 9 minus 7 gives us 2. 1 minus 0 gives us 1. 5 minus 4 gives us 1. And then we'll carry down the 3. Now 201, how many times can 201 be divided into 1,123? Can be divided 5 times. 5 times 201, we'll get 1,005. We want to subtract. Starting in our last column, 3 minus 5, we can't take 5 from 3, so we got to borrow from the 2. That 2 becomes 1, and this 3 becomes 13. 13 minus 5 gives us 8, and 1 minus 0 gives us 1. 1 minus 0 again gives us 1. So we'll stop here. There are no more numbers for us to carry down. And in this particular question, you're asked to find the quotient and the remainder, if there is a remainder. There is a remainder, so we would choose letter B. The quotient has a remainder that's not equal to 0. The quotient is 175. So we'll put 175 as the quotient. And R stands for remainder. The remainder would be 118 right here at the bottom. Okay? And that's our answer for number 40. That's number 40. That's the end of the notes, the examples for homework 1A, and we'll end here.